Привет всем! Интервью с жителем Калифорнии. Обсуждение того, как было раньше и что будет после. Катастрофа и будущая жизнь. Особая благодарность моему гостю Дэвиду Бейкеру. Discussion about how it was before and what would happen after. Disaster and future life. My special thanks to my guest Дэвид Бейкер. Это уникальное интервью я взял сегодня ночью у жителя Калифорнии Дэвида Бейкера. Дэвид прожил в Калифорнии много десятилетий и наблюдал разные жизненные ситуации, которые там происходили в прошлые годы. Это интервью будет вестись на английском языке. В правом верхнем углу вы увидите знак CC и звездочку. Нажмите на них и можете найти подстрочный перевод на русский, украинский или нужный вам язык. Как известно, уже более 10 дней в Калифорнии пылают ужасные пожары, которые принесли много горя и создали невыносимые условия для жизни. Десятки тысяч людей потеряли кров над головой и свое семейное гнездо. По этому поводу интернет распространяет множество слухов, которые часто не соответствуют реальным событиям. Потому что всегда существуют заинтересованные стороны, которые усердно распространяют наглую ложь. Это отголоски внутренней и внешней политической борьбы с очернением действий той или иной стороны. К сожалению, в этой мерзкой пропаганде активно участвуют как люди, так и созданные искусственным интеллектом боты. Некоторые подлые типажи даже проявляют паскудную радость в связи с этим пожаром. Они говорят, пусть богатые тоже поплачут. Но в этом пожаре свое имущество потеряли всего несколько сотен богатых, а вот десятки тысяч – это обычные простые люди, которые буквально остались без крова над головой и обречены на скитание и кошмарную жизнь в ближайшем будущем. Сейчас Дэвид расскажет обо всем в деталях. Этот человек, как и я, имеет центристские взгляды, и он никаким образом не заинтересован в пропаганде идей противодействующих сторон. Дэвид живет в собственном доме примерно в 150 километрах на север от Лос-Анджелеса. Совершенно случайно мы оба вспомнили крылатую фразу, которую несколько десятков лет тому назад высказал знаменитый американский комик, философ Джордж Карлин. А звучит она так. Never underestimate stupid people in large groups. То есть будьте осторожны с недооценкой тупых людей, собравшихся в большие группы. От себя добавлю, особенно, когда они объединены идиотизмом и интернетом. Слушайте внимательно и задавайте вопросы. Я буду отвечать.
Lost my pen. There's my pen.
Hello to everybody. Actually, this is my first interview with American, which I want to show on YouTube and Facebook. I have several interviews with very interesting people, and I never put it on YouTube and Facebook. I just put it in the inner circle of my friends. If David let me introduce him a couple words, and he will talk by himself. We met each other a couple years ago on Facebook because of our common friend who lives in Moscow. His name is Grisha. I live in Pennsylvania, and David lives in California. What I know about David, he is a very good skater. And I'm surprised. I saw some of his video. He is so talented skater, and he is not anymore like 18. He is a little older than 18. He's doing very good. What I know about David, he told me his father was working for some space program, and he was born in Florida. And I hope my friends will understand why he was born in Florida. And he lives many, many years in California. And he lives in Santa Maria. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
And Santa Maria, like about halfway between San Francisco and LA. Is that right?
Yep.
And what about your areas, like mountains or what?
Low hills. There's a
Hills.
small range to the east of us.
Okay.
Nothing over maybe 10,000 feet. They're fairly low. The ones closest to us are more like 8,000 feet. They're pretty low.
How far are you from ocean? I know for people.
As the crow flies, probably 12 miles max.
So it's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the car.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm about an hour from the Atlantic Ocean, and David is 15 minutes from Pacific Ocean. Okay, I start. This is a very strange interview. First of all, it's happened like 15 minutes ago. I talked with him on the phone. He left me comments on Facebook. People will not believe it. They will think we playing. No. First of all, he is a Catzilla. I'm from NASA. He's a Godzilla. I'm from NASA. So
Yeah.
we are the right people, okay? And actually, I have a T-shirt like that. Yeah, and I have all the like a set of this.
Oh
Because
dear.
how many cats do you have?
I have 6. I brought them from
Oh,
a
and I
ranch.
only 3, so I have a chance to get more. So most of my friends, like internet friends, and I have a closer friends, but internet friends, they live in different spots on this planet and different countries all around the world, from New Zealand to Argentina. Not all of them speaking English, so I will tell them they can translate it easy on YouTube. YouTube has a chance. Did you see some of my videos on YouTube? Could you translate it to English?
They translate. The semantics are a little off sometimes.
Yes,
The
yes,
AI doesn't always
you're
quite
right.
understand the context.
So if we will speak slowly, they will easy. If I mean, I cannot pronounce. I'm not a Shakespeare, but you're almost like a Shakespeare. So if you speak slowly, it will translate better, and if not, I will do by myself some work because it's a very important. Because all my friends who live around the world, they're interested in what's going on now in LA, what's going on in America, and they're very suspicious and they're very frustrated. People very frustrated in Europe, all over the world. They're frustrated with our new president and with fire in California. Let's start about the fire. Can you tell the story about how it's happened before and come after? Actually, there is a David lives in the area named Santa Maria, but there is an area just in the west of LA named Santa Ana. It's
Yes.
terrible. I think it's done. Okay. No, it's terrible. Okay, let's start with how it was before and what's happened now, please.
Well, California is classified through most of the state as semi-arid desert, and people tend to forget that. All they can see is beach and Hollywood and maybe San Francisco, but that's just a real small part of the state. Historically what happens is you get a onshore wind and an offshore wind
It's
because we're on
always
the
wind.
ocean.
It's always wind. Yeah.
Always wind. And when you get the onshore winds, it's not so bad because they're usually cooler. They're damper because they come off the ocean. But the offshore winds, they call them the Santa Anas because Santa Ana is out in the more desert part of California. So they're very dry and hot when they come across. Now, we
It's
haven't
even,
been,
I'm sorry, it's even coming from Nevada, maybe even from Nevada, something coming.
yeah, you get a high pressure out in the east, and it just pushes everything out towards the ocean. So historically, when the Santa Ana winds come up, you know that it is problematic because we go through rainy years and then dry years. And what happens is in the rainy years, you get a bunch of growth of underbrush and trees and everything grows. And then you start to go into a drought, and all of that becomes fuel because it all dries up. And when you get the Santa Ana winds, the even our grassy areas out towards the east, we will get virtually spontaneous ignition because the grass is so dry that when it's that hot and you get the winds, it's almost like the friction ignites it. But you get virtually a spontaneous combustion sometimes.
It's like a
Now we do
sparkle. It's like a sparkle.
well, it's like rubbing two sticks together almost.
Yeah.
You've got this dry heat and wind, and it's just a bad combination. Now we have had issues with the electrical lines, when they tap. We've had problems with arson. There have been a number of issues that have started fires in the past. They are unsure what started at this time, but we have had record Santa Ana winds. They had gusts of 80 and 100 miles an hour over the mountains. They had 2 years of wet years where we grew a lot of trees, a lot of would turn into fuel, because this last year we've had almost no rain. It's been very dry, so all that's become very dry and susceptible to burning. We have LA has kind of in a way overbuilt because we're a desert and we keep trying to import more and more water. Now, that's kind of the background of how this fire got started. It's not one fire. If you look at the map, there are dozens of them. There's like
Yes, I
three
saw that.
large. Yes.
It's coming from the west. From
Yeah.
the west, from the west, it go down south. It's
Yeah.
like 100 miles above the LA and go down south on west.
Yeah, there's a whole what they call red flag
Line.
warning period, which is what you're talking about right now. We've got that whole area is under warning, and we've got like 3 major fires going right now and a bunch of little ones, and that's unfortunately real common. But these 3 large fires happen to start in heavily populated areas, and the problem is that California has the best wildfire fighters in the world. Everybody knows this
Because they're training.
Everybody comes here to train. So we've got an advantage there, and we have an infrastructure for fighting wildfires. But that's in the forests.
That's my second question. Just 1 second.
Yes.
I'm a little bit. I want to make it a little narrower. And thank you.
Sure.
It's a very, very good conversation, and you're telling very informatical. So the question is, when those places like Santa Ana and the places like Pacific, how you name it, Pacific
Palisades.
Palisades,
Pacific Palisades, yes.
Yeah, so all of these places, they have a history of similar fire or some other thing, so they supposed to be always on alert. So what's happening this time?
Well, alert is one thing, and people have tried to say, oh, they should have gotten there quicker. From what I understand, there was a phone call in the Pacific Palisades area. There's a retired state congressman or something like that who lived up there, and his wife saw a early smoke, and she made a phone call to 911, and they said, oh, people didn't come for 30 to 45 minutes. Well, first of all, it was just on the other side of the ridge. They couldn't necessarily see if there were people there or not. But second of all, it's California. An engine's going to take a while to get there. If you've ever tried to drive in a heavy metropolitan area, you know that unfortunately people don't always just move over like they're supposed to and let the fire trucks through. Second of all, the airplanes were ready, but 30 to 45 minutes to get an airplane loaded with retardant or water, to get the pilots on, to get the planes warmed up and off the ground, 30 to 45 minutes really isn't bad. But could they have done better? I'm not a specialist. I don't know. But in my opinion, that's pretty quick, because you got to tell everybody else in the airport, hey, nobody can land, nobody can take off because we are in an emergency situation. So they have to go do their job.
Are you surprised now?
Yeah, there you go. Them is in the fire.
I'm not only in the fire. When David, a couple times he told me I'm a Russian spy. Is it right? Is it right?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
I'm not Russian spy.
No.
I'm not from this planet.
You're not from this planet.
Yeah, I came from Alpha Centauri, and
we'll get you some antenna.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell people what's going on, and they think I'm crazy. I'm crazy, but
Well,
not crazy like the
yeah,
orange one.
you might be crazy, but you're not crazy. So to finish the story, this isn't a forest wildfire. This is metropolitan. This is houses and businesses. The fire hydrants along your street are built to put out a fire on one or maybe a couple of houses, or they're built to be used in the city on, maybe a business. They'll combine some water. They had thousands of houses on fire, and they had all of these fire hydrants uncorked, which means the water has to go. Palisades is up. It's not down. It's up a mountainside. So the water
Yeah,
has to go
it's
get
like a
pumped up.
like a stairs. I saw it like a
Yes.
stairs on the
Yes.
mountain.
So the water has to go up to get there. So the pumps have to push it up. All of these hydrants are open. No system in the world is built to run with all of its fire hydrants open all at once. They lost pressure. If you've ever used an air compressor or a garden hose and you put too many things on it, the pressure goes away. It stops working like it should. That's the simple problem we ran into. And it wasn't that we didn't have water. There were people who said, "Oh, there was a up above Palisades, there was a reservoir."
Yes,
Yeah, it was one
but it was
reservoir.
empty. It was on
Yes, but
the.
it's one reservoir. We have hundreds of reservoirs.
Yeah, they talk about
It
one because they want to show the shit.
Yeah, it didn't. If you listen to any of
Yeah,
the
it's not
special,
the.
the
So
actual firemen,
that's why I want to talk to you, because you live in California. You know what's going on. It's a lot of fucking propaganda.
well,
The Russian
everybody's.
propaganda, Trumpist propaganda. That's all from Musk. If Musk is so good man, he has a 400 billion fucking dollars. Why he would give 100 to California to help?
Yeah, well, everybody's trying to make their point, trying to be an armchair specialist, trying to get
To be
attention.
smart, show
Um,
off.
when you build, that people said, "Oh, you should have built for," and thought about this. Well, let's see. When you build for an earthquake, you build a house to withstand about a 6 or a 6.5 earthquake, because that if you hit 7 or 8, it doesn't matter what you build. It's
It will
coming
destroy.
down. If you're in the hurricane area, I lived in Florida. I've seen hurricanes, I've seen tornadoes. If an F5, the big one, hits, you can't build for that. You find a place and hide, because that's the best you can do. And this was a perfect, what do they call that? It's a perfect disaster, because you had record high Santa Ana winds. You had the dry fuel waiting to be hit, and it was in a place where it wasn't really built for that kind of, to suppress that kind of fire. In a mountainous area, you don't have to worry about house and house and house. You just, I'll try to stop the fire. I'll drop some retardant here, and I'll try to stop the fire. I'll build a fire break here with my firemen, and I'll try to contain that. You can't really do all of that in a neighborhood of houses. It doesn't work the same way.
And question about this, more like a detailed question. When
Sure.
they build those developments or houses across the street, okay,
Mhm.
the area is very expensive, and
Oh,
the real
yes.
estate, they made the money. And I believe this planning is a little bit too crowded. Maybe it's, like I live in development, okay? And
Yes.
I'm happy I'm in Pennsylvania. I told all my friends from California 10 years ago, I told my friend, are you retired? Come here. You have for $2.5 million house?
Yeah.
Sell your house. He told, I still owe to the bank $1 million. I told, that's good. I told, that's good. You come here, you sell the house for 2.5, you buy the same house here as 800,000, like my house,
Yep.
like my
Yep.
house. And you
Yep.
pay bank, and you have no obligation, and enjoy your life. And there is no hurricane, there is no fire. But I understand nobody want to come from California here. They think Pennsylvania is like a shitty country place,
No, it's just cold.
It's
We
too
don't do
cold
cold
for
well.
Californian people. It's too cold. Yes, now actually, you know what the temperature now?
I'll bet it's icy.
22. 22.
That's not
You
bad.
cannot stand it?
That's cold. I was in Colorado for a while, and I went through the teens, 14, 16 degrees in the winter. I prefer my sunshine and the beach.
Okay, because you've been born in
Yes.
Florida, and what
Yep.
is the temperature now in Santa Maria?
Well, tonight it's considered cold, and it's 45-ish, I think.
But average a year, the
Oh,
temperature
average year
in
we
Santa
run
Maria
our
about
average
68.
it's seven. No, it's 70, 71, something like that.
What about summertime? Is it some very hot days, like 95?
Um, Not in Santa Maria. If you
So
go inland
Santa
a little
Maria is
ways,
more
it'll get hot. More
like
temperate.
balance,
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah, yeah, it's much well. We're not that far from the ocean, so the ocean sort
So
of
you don't have
balances
any
itself.
humid over there. You have like when the wind's coming from the ocean, a little
Yeah.
humid or no?
No, not so much. The humidity here is measured in single digits. It's not like Florida or some of those other places where Florida is really humid.
Oh yeah.
No, it's measured in single digits. That's part of our fire problem. Is it gets dry here?
So let's go back to LA. So
Sure.
you explained the situation before the fire. So the aviation, they could not use the aircrafts because people, they've been still there and they cannot work from the air. They cannot
Well,
work. The space
that
is
wasn't
supposed to
that
be empty.
that wasn't quite what stopped them. What stopped them were high winds. The
Oh, they
airplanes are
cannot
great,
use it because high
but
wind.
right when with the helicopters and the aircrafts they use, you can't fly them in those kind of winds. It's too dangerous. They have two. They call them super scoopers from Canada that have come down. Not only can you not fly them in a high wind, but you need your seas to be a little flat, not perfectly, but you need it to be somewhat flat so that you can skim, take off, and take your water without going up and down from the ocean. The ocean's got to be cooperate somewhat too. So there are a lot of factors that factor into. Ooh, we can only do what we can do.
Oh, interesting question. There is in Pacific Palisade, there is a line of the houses just like like a couple hundred steps from the ocean. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
and they all done, and they
yeah.
all done. And I thought, is there some uh like a boats, like like a fireman boats to use from the ocean? I mean, oh, because the wind,
Right.
okay, I understand. Yeah, the wind
You
was
know,
killing
the
everything.
problem is they're right up. It's on the edge of the ocean. They're right up against the shore, and even on a calm day, the waves and the motion of the ocean make those boats want to go back and forth, and you
Yeah,
risk
they
running a
can
boat
work
in
only in the
down.
ocean, far away from. I mean, if something happened, like a fire on the boat, they can
Yeah,
work, not with
yeah, yeah. You
shore.
know, those boats usually operate in a bay. You see them in New York in the big harbors there. You see them down in San Diego and in Long Beach. You've got boats like that around there, and in San Francisco where they're in a bay where the water is much calmer.
Hmm.
I mean, it does have waves and issues, but it's not like being out there on the edge of the ocean.
I understand. I'm like talking to myself. Okay. Okay. So, and now we already have it, and God bless, maybe it's be done in a couple days. What do you feel like?
Um, I don't know. They keep having little flare-ups, and the wind has been not cooperating. They've had some
Do you
days where there
have a
was less
wind
wind.
in your area? Do you have wind now?
No, not here. Here we're not doing too bad. That red map you were talking about with the red flag warning zone kind of wraps around us some. we may end up getting it, but the high that's causing the air, the spin, is not quite. We're on the wrong side of it to really be affected by it too much.
Okay,
It's kind of like the hurricane.
one day it will be done. Okay,
Hopefully
and
soon.
people they
Hopefully
lost,
soon.
and people, thousands of the people,
Yes.
they
Yes.
lost everything. It's
Absolutely
terrible.
everything.
I was drunk a couple days, I'll tell you, because I could not get any other medicine. I was drunk because look what I'm drinking. I have to show people. I don't know what you're drinking. Look.
Oh, I don't drink anymore.
Okay.
I did my drinking in
And
my
I drink
youth.
this. It's a good one. You see,
There you
it
go.
says organic.
Organic. That makes it go okay.
Is
Is it all alcohol organic?
Is a smart commercial? How it's they make a couple more dollars. It's like a
Yeah.
it's like a kosher. Organic is like a kosher.
Kosher. Oh, there you go. Kosher liquor.
Kosher organic. Okay. So I was drunk a couple days because you know what? I'm so emotional person. And because I'm a designer and I'm emotional. And I
Right.
put myself in the shoes of those people who live over there. And I thought, what I would do if that happened with my house. And somebody will tell me, you will get money in a couple years, you will rebuild. А сейчас послушайте внимательно, что Дэвид рассказывает. В этой местности живут люди разные. Большинство людей, подавляющее, которые живут тут 25-30 лет, их дома стоили в свое время 150-170 тысяч. Это сейчас они стоят миллионы. В общем-то, это люди очень сильно пострадали. И те, кто радуются их несчастью, у тех в голове обязательно дырка будет.
It's going to take more than a couple of years.
This is my nest, this is my nest. This is not just money. It's my nest.
Yes. And some of those people in LA have been there most of their life in that home.
They don't understand some other life, yeah.
Well, the cost, yeah, but the cost, and they're not all big homes. Everybody thinks they're all big homes. Some of them are just little 3-bedroom tract home looking things. They're not big homes. And they've been in them so long that they may have paid $150,000, $200,000 for those 30 or 40 years
25 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, 30 or 40 years ago. And that was considered really expensive then. Now they're multi-million-dollar lots because of where they're at. And
idiots jealous. You know how many idiots in the world they're jealous? And they thought, oh, God punish them because they're rich. They're rich.
Yeah.
God them
punish. But they're not rich. They're not rich.
Let them punish the tongue of those idiots who is talking like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not rich. They've just been there a long time.
They just live over there. It's like one person live in the Sahara, in the desert, and they know how to live in Sahara. They don't know how to live in mountains. People who live in mountains, they don't know how to live in Sahara. And everybody was in a nest. Like some people, like me or you. Did you travel in this world?
I travel America. I've never been out of America.
So you're typical American. But yeah. And it's good. I did.
That's why I
was traveling only in the 6 states. And I want to go in all 50 states. I want to, but I cannot because we have some problem at home. I mean, we have a person who, we have person who is handicapped and we have to take care of. We cannot go.
Sure. No, I've lived in 4 states, and it's interesting, being born in the South, in the East, South, and raised out here in the West. You get a real different culture.
That's interesting for my viewers. It's interesting.
Yeah.
What the culture in Florida to compare with the California and an opposite? That's interesting.
Well,
please.
They're similar because they both have a lot of ocean, a lot of beachfront and ocean. So that makes them have a sort of a similar background. But California is a very fast lifestyle, even in the farming areas and stuff. That just the Californians live fast. They want to ride motorcycles. They want to ride horses. They want to climb mountains. They're always doing something.
More
Florida,
active style of
yeah,
life. Yes.
Florida is active, but they're Southern folk, and they are much more laid back about how they approach things. When I
So
moved
make
back to Florida,
America back. Make America back.
yeah, when I moved back to Florida, it was funny. It was I was in my 20s, and
Okay.
there were people there that always kept telling me, why are you in such a hurry? Slow down some. Slow down. They always thought I was in a hurry. I'm like, no, this is just normal speed for me. It's a little bit of culture shock.
Okay. And more. So what do you
Well,
think? What? Yeah. Continue, please.
they both have their economies. Florida used to have a lot more citrus than it does. A lot more
I
farming.
don't hear which one?
Citrus, like oranges and
Citrus.
lemons
Okay.
and grapefruit.
Okay.
They had a better citrus
Mandarina,
thing until
apelsины. I'm speaking in Russian, yes.
they kind of got hurt through a few freezes, so you see a lot more South American products. So, but there were a lot more farms down there. But Florida is basically a big swampy sandbar. You know, you can dig a hole to plant a tree, and it fills with water. That's how high the water table is there. So you get a real different lifestyle there. In California, it's dry, it's dusty, a lot of desert. We have a lot of ag
And they
farming.
have a lot of moisture, and you have opposite in California.
Yeah. Our moisture is all along the edge, and we steal it from other places. But you know, California, we feed the world basically. We're still the fifth largest economy on the planet, which makes it a little weird to live here because it's like living in another country almost.
And
you know,
in
Florida
California,
has
you miss a very important animal. You miss crocodiles.
Alligators. There aren't many crocodiles in Florida. They're alligators.
Yeah.
Alligators, and now they got big snakes. But yeah,
But you
alligators.
have in Florida and in California, there is some Mexican influence a little. No, people who's working.
Here it's definitely Mexican and South America. Over there's South America, but a lot of Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And the South American influence there is not Mexican so much. It's further down in South America.
But
a lot of Venezuelan.
I mean, I'm sorry. More Puerto Rican they live in Florida, not in California, in California
right.
too.
No, California, no. It's pretty much Mexican and Oaxacan and some of the big Mexican
and
states.
Somebody maybe from South America coming through the Mexico.
Yeah, you get the west side of Mexico in California. You get the more eastern side in Florida, kind of.
Yes. Okay. Let's go because I want to let you go because this is, I just took David's time for free. I don't know, maybe he's gonna send me a bill. I don't know yet because we don't know each other very well. Because
one designer to another.
They can do it, easy.
Well, one designer to another, right?
Yes. We are colleague, some kind. Let's another 10 minutes and we will finish. And I appreciate your time.
No
so
problem.
let's try to tell us what do you think when it's finished with fire? How long time it takes to rebuild? And what do you think? All these people, they will try to rebuild on the same place. You understand what I'm talking? You try your words.
We have suffered mudslides and fires in California where we've had to rebuild things. And they rebuilt things surprisingly quickly during those, but they weren't as big as this. This is huge. It's
a big money.
This and it's a lot of they're talking about not just a billion, but they're talking about like what did they say the other day? It was like 30 or 40 billion dollars, just this huge number. Money aside,
I'm sorry. Now they calculate the loss as minimum as $150 billion. minimum.
Yeah. Yeah. It's huge.
And you know, some people, I can tell you, you know, when it was the bankruptcy time in 2007, 2008, I got a bankruptcy. And I
Right.
owed to the bank about $800,000. And I didn't have
Wow.
those money. So I got a bankruptcy. And they took everything. They left only my house. Thanks God. You know, I got a good lawyers and I have my house. And so I built my house from zero like 24
Right.
years ago. So this is my nest. I'm saying I built it like I want to. So what's
Sure.
happened? So when I got a bankruptcy, all the banks start to, when it was the court, bankruptcy court. For example, I owe to the bank like $50,000 to some bank. And they gave a bill of $100,000. I told, I didn't
Right.
take it from you. They
Right.
create it, you know, they know, they have lawyers, they know how to create, to take
They
off
add
the
interest.
taxes. So
They add interest and penalties and fees and
so that will happen with California. If there is
Oh, yeah.
a disaster of $150 billion, they will calculate like $400 billion because they want
Yeah.
to take it from our pocket. We're all going to pay
Yep.
for this. We're all going to pay for this. Like we paid
It's
for
not gonna be
COVID.
pretty.
They told,
It's not
why
gonna be pretty.
inflation? Inflation. Biden is on this inflation. Biden do not own the inflation. The COVID is on the inflation. $2 trillion, $2 trillion they spent for inflation. Somebody must pay for that. Is that right?
Corporations saw a way to make large profits. They didn't lose any money then. They were making record profits, and they're still making record profits.
In 2008, when it was the collapse, the financial collapse, people like me, like small businessmen, you know, we lost everything. But the bank, they got covered from the government, and that's it. And we all pay for that. You know what I mean?
The banks who caused the problem got taken
They
care of.
create the problem, and they didn't pay for problem. Is that right?
That's right. Yep, correct.
People will say now, some of the idiots will say, I'm the communist, I'm the Marxist. They can say whatever they want to, you know?
Yeah.
A normal person who can calculate from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, you know? And I understand in the middle there is a 0. And if you go right or you go left, same numbers.
Yeah.
On the right side is going to be +1, and the left side is going to be -1. But it's still going to be 1. You know what I'm talking?
Yeah.
It's philosophy. It's my philosophy.
Yeah.
So as far from the 0 on the right and the left is more idiots. You know what I mean? And they're equal. They have the same number. For example, minus 10 and +10. It's not plus. It's just
no.
It's nothing. You know, they say they're plus. You know.
Oh, they're just pushing buttons. It doesn't. They don't feel it. They don't mean anything to them. But you know, as I've gotten more older, I don't want to say mature. As I've gotten older,
you are mature. You are 45 years old. You're mature.
I'm really started to understand.
You look very. You see, it's the first time actually. I never see. They will not believe it. We are talking like second time, and I see David first time in my life. He saw me in my videos, but I didn't see him. Sure. And I know how old is he. I will not tell it, but you look young for your age.
Oh, I'm 63. I'll tell him.
So we are 10 years difference. I'm 73.
Yep. So the old adage, and it's probably been in every country, but follow the money. When they talk about how to solve a crime in court, when they talk about what's happening, follow the money. And I've learned to apply that to pretty much everything in my life. Whenever there's an issue, 2008, follow the money. When this disaster in California, follow the money. That's where you see what's really happening. It has nothing to do with anything.
That's what's happened 2-3 months before the election. That's what's happened. If you would look 3 months before the election on the market in London, you know, they have gambling on and all the they beat on Trump, they beat, and I knew he's gonna
Yep.
win. And look at all of these. So we will finish now. Let's talk about these big animals, like Musk and Zuckerberg and the others. What they gonna do? He
You
is
are
a player.
witnessing.
Look, he is a player on my point of view. He is a player on the one part of the world, and they are players on the other. He does not understand what they're doing. He doesn't have enough brain to understand what they're doing. And
He
they are
doesn't
playing.
care.
No, let me finish. And they're just gambling with him. Does he understand they're gambling with him?
Yep. No, he doesn't care. He sees dollar signs and power, and that's all he sees. He doesn't care who it hurts, how it gets there, or anything else. It's about, again, follow the money. That's all it means to him.
But why they
Did I
need
lose?
him? Why they need him? Because they can manipulate
Because
with him.
He's good at inflaming the people. They needed somebody to push the button psychologically on people. And I almost hate to say it, but if you read your history and you look at any rise of any authoritarian leader, and I'm going to say Hitler because that's the easiest one to read, it's almost like a step-by-step plan of this is how you do this. This is how you achieve power. It's spooky.
And
What
now
you're
we are
witnessing-
talking. Now we are talking exactly what I want to finish with.
Yeah,
Now the
you're
situation
witnessing-
exactly like 100 years ago.
I
Exactly
believe
the
you're-
same situation.
I
100
believe
years
you're
ago.
witnessing-
Give me just 1 minute, please, and
Sure.
I will listen to you. Some people, they criticize me. They told, you're inviting guests and you're trying to talk more than your guest. But I want to push a little bit the knob.
Sure.
100 years ago was three leaders in the world. You know who is that? Mussolini, Hitler, and Stalin.
Yes.
Okay, three leaders, like new leaders, not like old English leaders, like new leaders.
Yep.
What bank doing? They're always looking for know-how. They're always looking for a new starter. Is that right?
Yeah.
So a lot of old money come to support Stalin in 20s and the beginning of 30s. American money. They helped Stalin to build the economy after the revolution. American money and English money. A lot of money from inside the Germany, the bankers. They've been very disappointed. They lost the war and they lost the money. So they've been looking for the leader to get back the money. And they support Hitler. Actually, many of those have been Jewish people. They didn't know what Hitler going to do in the future.
Yeah.
Mussolini got the friend in Milan, the banker. They've been friends. And those bankers gave him money to Mussolini. And Mussolini got all these people who went through the World War I. And first, what they did, they killed all these communists. Okay? And next, he started to talk to America, to England, to France, and he told, I want to be a friend of you because I'm killing communists, I'm good. You know what they told him? You're the socialist, you're the Marxist. You read the history,
Yeah.
I learned that, you're Marxist,
Yeah.
we don't want to deal with you. Oh, you don't want to deal with me? I'm gonna get another friend. So he got a friend of Hitler. Next they found the other friend who hate America, the Japanese. That's how it's happened. And look what's happened now. Russia find a friend in China, in Iran. So I finish, and your words, and we will finish. Thank you.
Well, I think, unfortunately, if we don't stop what's happening, you're witnessing a mutated oligarchy being formed, and the oligarchy is mutated by the capitalism of America. Just as Russia, its communism got mutated by capitalism at some point, and it formed into what it did. Ours will be our own version of that, when they're looking at passing an awful lot of laws that will keep them in power, keep their ball rolling, and make it more difficult to stop them. It's not the people now that worry me. It's the damage that they will do over the next 4 years and how long it will take to undo it.
Exactly. So you are familiar with the Stoicism?
Yeah.
Marco Aurelius, Seneca. So now is the time to learn more from Stoicism. You pronounce Stoicism? How you pronounce it?
Stoicism?
Stoicism. Uh-huh. We
Stoicism.
pronounce in Russian it's Stoicism. In English it's Stoicism. Is that right?
It's based on our word is stoic.
Stoic, yes, stoic, yes.
So it's stoicism, stoic. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
stoic.
Stoicism. Okay, thank you.
Right.
So now it's a very important time to learn, because it was 2,000 years ago. It was a lot of problem at that time, and people who is smart enough and educated, they took that theory, this philosophy of Stoicism, and that's what I recommend my people. And that's what I did like 20 years ago when I got a time in my life was very hard, and I learned. And the Stoicism says, first, you cannot change the world, but you can change yourself to survive in this world.
Yeah,
that's the most important phrase. Is it right?
Yeah, I think so. But I do think you can change small things around you. Changing big things around you usually takes more than one person because they've got to have support. But you can change yourself, which in turn may change something small around you and maybe one more person around you.
I agree with you, but the problem, you know what the problem with the smart people? I have a club.
Glass,
About
glass half
40
full.
people, very educated, and 10 of them, they have doctorate degree, PH, and they're smart, they're good, they're positive, but sometimes they want to show off to the other person he's smarter, and that's terrible.
Yeah, there's that.
As stupid people, they're the same, like they're the same, so they're always crowd. You remember George Carlin, what he said? You remember what he said?
7 dirty words. I don't know.
Do
What else
not
did he say?
underestimate the crowd, don't be too
Yes.
smart.
No, right. Well, the problem with being an intellectual, and I have a good example of this, was President Obama, an obvious
They hate him.
intellectual,
They
college
hate him.
professors, smart man, college professor. You know what his problem was? He believed people would do the right thing because it was the right thing. He had that
And they say,
positive outlook,
yeah, he thought
and it's not
all has
true.
the same brain.
Yeah, it's not true. Humans have survived on this planet because we are the most opportunistic little beast to ever see this planet. That's why we survived, and we try to overcome that to be a better animal, beast, whatever you want to call us. But yes, that's the problem with being an intellectual, is you believe that people will do the right thing for the right reasons.
So Trump is a good president because he is matched to the crowd,
Well, he's managed to find his audience, that's for sure.
And people,
he's got an audience of grievance.
Human made, look how human made. We cannot go against the Mother Nature. Look, everybody has a hand. Yeah, the hand.
Right.
And look at the fingers. They don't go out. They don't give out. They go in. Everybody wants to do like that. Not
but you can make the choice of this or this.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
that is your choice. You make the
Yes.
choice of this or this. Who are you?
Yeah, looking at Jesus. Look at Jesus. He always go like this. Jesus,
Yep.
a Buddha go like this.
Yep.
And stupid people, they go like this, you know?
Yep.
And finally somebody else go like this. It gives him a lesson.
Unfortunately, it seems to be the only thing bullies understand is a shot to the nose.
Yeah, you cannot talk to bullies. You cannot talk.
No.
It's like,
No.
yeah. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. And I believe we will continue if you never mind.
All right. That's great.
I'm very happy, and you will get the copy of this. And I hope maybe some of your friends, because for me it's a very important opinion of the different people, you know?
Sure.
It's very important, is that right? And that's
Sure,
what
yes.
exactly what you told, that my influence on the common world, I want to see the reaction. Maybe I go on the wrong direction. Maybe I'm a dreamer. And, you know, like Obama, he was a dreamer. He did not understand to the, you know, is it right?
He wanted to believe.
That's it.
He wanted to believe.
But
that's all you got sometimes.
I'm more, look, I'm not the a negativist. I'm not the optimist. I'm the realist, you know?
I lean towards optimism a little bit, even though I don't sound like it.
You're optimist. You're smiling. You know, some people, you know, they talk and they talk like, and I thought, why are you talking to me like that? I don't owe you any money. Why are you talking to me?
Are you sure? Did they buy the last round? What?
Thank you very much. Okay.
All right, my friend.
Okay. Nice to talk to you. Have a good night. Oh,
You too.
meanwhile, I have to tell people it's 2:00 nighttime in Pennsylvania. It's 11:00 p.m., almost midnight in California. And we are awake, and because we are positive. Okay, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Ну, надеюсь, что вы не останетесь равнодушными и прокомментируете. Пока, до встречи.